Arr, how be ye scallywags? This is the Sound Alchemist, and today we're going through another 40 Facts video. Once again, we're continuing on with the psychic disciplines. Today we are going through one of my favorite disciplines, the Fulmination discipline. So when you hear Fulmination, most likely you won't know that it's talking about electricity, lightning, thunder, that kind of thing. And this is basically what it's all about. So the Fulmination discipline has the crackling essence of life, and it is indeed a vital force for the warp-touched that they can draw upon to annihilate their foes. Fulmination is the power of arcing energy and electricity, and with this they can wield this powerful ability with only a flicker of a thought. So at its most basic, this discipline allows the user to throw bolts of lightning across the battlefield. However, fields of sparkling light can also be summoned by the librarian to ward away any damage. And on top of this, teleportation is also a thing. So now that we know what Fulmination basically entails, let's dive into the abilities of a Fulmination librarian. And we shall begin with the Primaris power, Electro Surge. Speaking of Surge, there's a guy who used to be my buddy. Haven't seen him in a long time, but his name was Sergio. I always called him Power Surge, probably because he was a Fulmination psyker. But anyway, Electro Surge is an electrokinetic energy that the psyker can control between his fingertips. With a mere gesture, it leaps forth to transform flesh into charred meat. So this is the standard, lightning comes out of my fingertips. Think of Darth Maul in Star Wars. It's like, oh, you got me beat? Too bad, Mace Windu. You're going out of a freaking window. But anyway, let's continue on, and we've got Electro Shield. Don't think too hard, guys. This is just a shield made out of electricity. But let's go into it anyway. With a mere thought, the psyker summons forth a crackling shield of electrokinetic energy to ward away bullets and blows of the enemy. So that's pretty interesting, because not just is it lightning, but it also has magnetism into it. So if there's any metal coming their way, it's just going to bounce right off, or maybe even reflect right off of it and go right back at the enemy. Really awesome ability. I'm sure Magneto would appreciate it. Continuing on, we've got Electro Pulse. This is when the psyker concentrates his power into a raging cyclone of electromagnetic energy that spirals outward before detonating into a massive shockwave that causes machine circuits to sputter and fry. So basically, take this Astra Mechanicus, because the Adeptus Mechanicus would just go dark if they used a massive electro pulse on him. But anyway, let's keep going. Lightning Arc. Bolts of warp lightning leap forth from the psyker's eyes and mouth, arcing violently among the enemy forces and leaving death in their wake. So what's better than shooting lightning from your fingertips? Shooting it out of your eyes and mouth, because why not? Just don't let Slaanesh know about the lightning arc ability, because if it can come out of your eyes and mouth, then I'm pretty sure Slaanesh will make it come out of somewhere else. This next ability is a really cool one. I really like the whole concept of fists of lightning. Who needs a power fist when you could just have your own fist encased in lightning? The psyker summons forth crackling cocoon of living lightning that surrounds the fists. Whenever enemies are struck, incandescent arcs of lethal energy leap forth to course through their ranks. This is just an awesome ability. I could already see it playing out in my mind. It just looks amazing. Think of it as like, if you played God of War, I want to say 3, Hercules with those big cestus, just think of that, and like every time it punches, it's just like a shockwave of like lightning. It's too badass. We've only got 2 more lightning attacks to cover, and these are a little bit interesting because it's not just about throwing lightning, now you're doing a little bit more. Magnetokinesis. The psyker surrounds his allies in a bubble of magnokinetic forces before levitating them across the battlefield to a tactically superior position. So this goes kind of similar with the other ability where it creates a magnetic force, and with this force you could basically just fly. So kind of like what Magneto does with the Earth's poles, which makes him levitate. Yeah, very X-Men-y. And finally, we have Electro Displacement. The Psyker bends the power of the warp, and an eldritch bolt of lightning flashes across the battlefield. In a simple instant, the Psyker has displaced himself, switching his location with that of his allies. So basically, the Psyker will drop deep into the midst of enemy territories, wreak havoc, and just when he's about to get captured, he's like, too bad, not me. And then he switches places with the bulk of his army. And now he's saved. The army who was now, waiting to attack has now appeared right in front of the enemy, and it's just going to be a bloodshed. I feel like this attack is very similar to Sasuke's Rinnegan. If you've seen Boruto episode 65, you know what I'm talking about. Sasuke was just wrecking face. It was a really, really awesome episode. If you're into anime, check it out. You'll know what I'm talking about. The animation was just superior in that episode. But anyway, guys, let's go back to 40K. And we go back to this video ending because we've covered all the abilities of the Fulmination discipline. Just like Pyromancy, this is one of my favorite psychic abilities, just because lightning and fire seem pretty cool. However, ice is also an element that I would like incorporated into a psychic discipline, which I was kind of let down because the Space Wolf psychic discipline, the Tempestus discipline, doesn't really have anything to do with ice. There's a few abilities that you can control the weather and you get like little shards of ice in like a blizzard or a maelstrom. But it's not like you can encase your enemies in ice or, summon forth, ice fists or something like that. But who knows? Maybe later on they'll expand the psychic abilities in 8th edition. Because they did a really good job of it in 7th. Because each faction had their own discipline. And then the Angels of Death came out and it gave them more disciplines. And it was just awesome. But now with 8th edition, I feel like they got to get all the codices out before they start expanding on things. So we're almost there, but again, Orcs still need a codex, Space Wolves still need a codex, and I believe there's a few more, but those are the only ones I could think of right now. But anyway, guys, let me know what you thought about this video. Does the Fulmination discipline interest you at all? If not, let me know what other discipline you want me to cover, and I'll research it, and I'll see what I can find. But yeah, one thing I did notice about this, like during the research stage, is that the Fulmination discipline has a ton, and I mean a ton of artwork. Like if you go into like Geomancy, Technomancy, even some of the more basic ones like Biomancy, stuff like that, it's really hard to find images of Space Marines or whatever it is doing that psychic ability. I believe this image here is a really badass one of Iron Arm, and that's like the only one of Iron Arm, that I could find. So yeah, it was a lot easier finding images for this. As you can see, there's tons of images of like lightning, warp attacks and whatnot, but just wanted to throw that out there. Again, guys, sit tight because this week we will be continuing our grim dark battles. Like 2 months ago, I did a poll where you guys were basically answering who you think would win between 5 Nurglings and 5 Gretchen. So again, guys, sit tight because we will see what will happen with that grim dark battle. If you don't know what grim dark battles are, I will make the playlist linked at the end of the video so you guys can go check it out. Essentially, we pit 2 characters or 2 forces against one another in a what-if battle. I talk about their weapons, their strengths, their weaknesses, if they got any abilities, and then they duke it out. So basically I just make a what-if scenario of the 2 battling, and we'll see who came out on top and why. So with that being said, guys, that's all I've got for this video. Hit that like button if you appreciate the Fulmination discipline, and again, go down in the comments and let me know what other topics you want me to cover. This has been the Sound Alchemist, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.
Oh,